If it was not for the Family Institute of Connecticut, physician-assisted suicide would already have become law in Connecticut. 3 years ago, FIC and the disability community started working together to stop this dangerous legislation. Our coalition is kind of fragile because most disability rights advocates are politically progressive, and so we disagree with FIC on many other issues. But FIC has done everything right. Sometimes this involved FIC stepping out of the limelight in order to let people with disabilities be in the front. And they graciously did this over and over again, and we appreciate that. So thanks very much to the Family Institute of Connecticut for all you have done, and congratulations on working with the disability community to crush physician-assisted suicide 3 years in a row in Connecticut. Keep up the great work.
Well, we had another fantastic year at the Family Institute of Connecticut. It was the kind of year that helps remind us why FIC is so important, what our value is. We defeated assisted suicide for the 3rd year in a row. Not just defeated it, crushed it at the earliest possible stage, all 3 years, right in committee. It never even made it out of committee. And the reason is because we had the best public hearing yet. The first 3 people to testify on assisted suicide this year testified against it. There were disability rights activists. You know one of them, Kathy Ludlum from Second Thoughts, Connecticut. The other 2 were there because of FIC. Stephen Makochek, a national expert on this issue. Maggie Karner, who became the national voice of our side on this issue because of FIC. She, working with Family Institute of Connecticut, she appeared in a video that was an open letter to Brittany Maynard asking Brittany not to end her life, and that video went viral. We got over 400,000 visits. It was the biggest video that Family Institute ever produced. It was featured on national newscasts. Many other wonderful people testified. For me, it was a 17-hour hearing, and it was worth it. Every minute of it was worth it because those on our side were so good. They put on such a fantastic presentation that day that just crushed assisted suicide. Our little organization here in Connecticut, that's what we accomplished. We, working with our allies, we wrote the playbook here in Connecticut for how to defeat assisted suicide.
There has never been a single case of the Religious Freedom Restoration Act being used to discriminate against anyone.
That's an organization that has opposed almost every effort Connecticut has ever had to protect people from discrimination over the last 20 years. A Family Institute, for instance, actively campaigned against transgender protections. They actively campaigned. They knocked on doors. They came to the legislature. They riled people up.
Religious liberty is much in the news again in 2015 because of this United States Supreme Court decision that created out of thin air a national right to same-sex marriage. And of course, we had the very famous case of the Kentucky County Clerk being put in prison over this. And I understand there's a lot of concern about this. What people need to know is that Family Institute of Connecticut is about 6 or 7 years ahead of the curve on this issue because unfortunately our state Supreme Court imposed same-sex marriage 7 years ago. But what people don't know, what is the best kept secret in Connecticut, is that 6 years ago, the Family Institute of Connecticut and our allies went back to the state capitol and secured the strongest religious liberty protections in the entire country. This is why many of the things that are happening around this issue in other states are not happening in Connecticut because we secured those religious liberty exemptions. This is why you saw National Review Online describe Family Institute as indispensable. The gay marriage advocates have given interviews saying that their number one goal for the next 5 years is to repeal the religious liberty exemptions that Family Institute and our allies have won. So we have very important work to do on religious liberty, but the good news is we're in a very good place here in Connecticut on those issues because of the Family Institute of Connecticut, because of the work that we've already done. for the first time ever, we are taking up an international issue, and I'm speaking about the persecution of our Christian brethren and other minorities in the Middle East. There's a genocide that's occurring over there, and we cannot be silent in the face of it. We held poster rallies in downtown Hartford, teaming up with other groups that organize them to bring attention to the plight of our brethren overseas. We will continue to do whatever we can. It's a little outside of what we normally do, but what is happening over there is a genocide, and we cannot be silent in the face of it. We have to speak up for our brethren that are being persecuted over there, and more we intend to get involved in that issue.
One really exciting development this year has been our new website. It's attractive and functional. It's such a huge improvement. It looks so much more professional, and it's much easier to work with. Social media helps us to get our perspective out there, and it makes it very easy for people to share. A lot of things that happen develop very quickly, and that's our best way of communicating anything that's urgent or new.
The Family Institute is incredibly efficient in the use of their limited resources in helping us as conservative legislators at the state capitol. The amount of time and effort that is placed on high-profile legislation that the Family Institute is opposing or in some cases supporting, it's really incredible how much they're able to accomplish with a small amount of money. Now just imagine if the Family Institute had the resources that some of their peers have in other states across the country, how much more they would be able to do in being proactive and helping in the political process as well. So please chip in. Every bit helps. And we are very, very grateful for your support now and in the future. And please send God's blessings to all of the staff of the Family Institute for all the good work they do.
On behalf of our board of directors and of our staff, I want to thank you for giving us the support to be your voice here in Connecticut on behalf of religious liberty, the defense of marriage, and the protection of the most vulnerable among us. We will continue to fight with your help. Thank you, and God bless you.